mentioned Center for Social Cohesion, Policy Exchange, Quilliam, Middle East Forum. And I also mentioned not only Ed Hussein, but Charles Moore, Dean Godson. All these people are very well known in the media, in academia, and here in political circles. So you had the Center for Social Cohesion and Policy Exchange sharing their platform with Quilliam Foundation at the Labour Party's annual conference, at the Conservative Party's annual conference, and they've been, actually, it's that industry that I talked about. People, this is the politics of fear that he was talking about. The politics of fear where people just want some answers. And so you have ready-made organizations that give you that fear, because that's what they do full-time. Write reports about Muslims and constantly put pressure on the Muslim community that these are the villains that you've got to look at. And I mean, you know, some of these organizations have gone out. When I was not even part of the delegation, he knows, and my solicitors have written to those organizations and said, Lord Ahmed joins extremists. And now I was supposed to have joined extremists, that's Anas, to go and meet with the Turkish ambassador where I wasn't there. But the point is, if you challenge the Middle Eastern policy, and if you say anything about Israel, and the reason why I'm on that list is because I went to Gaza, and I have no problem with saying that the people in Gaza who are suffering because of the blockade need the support. And, you know, I don't have a problem. I say it in the House doors. And if those organizations, because they are paid, funded by people who are supporting certain political angles, if they're targeting you because of that, and they want to silence your voices because you're speaking out, then obviously there's an agenda that Quilliam is following with them, who are then obviously sharing. I'm just saying that the evidence is there, overwhelming, and this is not about one organization. This is a group of individuals, group of organizations, and you've seen Martin Wright's reports, them sharing the platform, all these, you know, less than half a dozen people, but I tell you something, they are making, and it's that demonization, constant demonization of the community and the constant targeting the community and putting the young people, again, who become very angry and putting young people in. Actually, you're not preventing violent extremism. You're actually creating this hatred because of the demonization that you're continuing all the time.
Regarding your second point, I think this is extremely important. First of all, I don't know, the specifics about which organisation has received funding, but let's make one thing certain. First of all, the Muslim community, like any other community, is part of the structure of Britain. They are taxpayers, they are people who work, they are people who spend their entire lives in this country, and they have responsibilities as they have dues and rights. And therefore, the very concept, the very principle of actually seeking funds for a social program, for a youth initiative or such, there is no shame in that. In fact, there is a responsibility upon the government in order to basically honour such initiatives and programs. However, what we're talking about here, and I think it's come extremely clear in the kind of what Dr. Bari has mentioned, what every single speaker has mentioned, the tying of this particular funding and this money with the counter-terrorism, counter-surveillance programs and initiatives. That is where it becomes problematic. We will give you money on condition that, first of all, you do not attack and criticise our policies either at home or abroad, and secondly, you do a little bit of spying on our behalf. That is money that no one wants to touch, and that's why I said it's a little bit amusing, but also quite tragically sad, that whenever I talk to, in a meeting to discuss PVE, people raise their hands and say, we have never ever touched this money, as though it is absolutely cursed. No one wants to touch it. Dr. Bari.
Thank you. There are a few birds of the same feather, and we know who they are. Lord Nazir has mentioned, and they are powerful because Keystone Manifesto, those who subscribe to that manifesto, so-called leftists, but they turn into neoconservatives. So they have got massive support in media and probably in some political structure. But the money is the public money. £140 million is the public money. And Muslims don't want to take it where it is their money as well. So that's the dichotomy. Same way, Rotary Fund for theological religious non-Muslims don't take this money. So a very underachieving community, deprived community, cannot take public money because there's no opportunity for them to take. So that's another big dichotomy. Now, these three people, I never mentioned their names, I know their backgrounds. Some of them probably they have got in their DNA extremism. They have been extremists in the past. Ordinary Muslims were sell out to them at that time. Now, they treat ordinary Muslims as Islamists. So these are two extremes from the same group of people. And I know that they are just like transitory phenomena, and in history probably they will be totally forgotten, but history will remember that they have done tremendous damage to community cohesion and community harmony. So that they are not only pocketing money from the public purse, they are creating dissension within the Muslim community, and they are creating division within the whole society. And I think this country, with its strong race relations and religious tolerance, for some reason has been now under the spell of few individuals and policymakers who have created this havoc. And that's why I say that it's business as usual is not going to work anymore.
Any hands? Okay, in that case, allow me to end by once more thanking every single one of you for spending the evening with us. I hope you found the contributions and the words that were said useful. And on everyone's behalf here, I'd like to thank, first and foremost, Lord Ahmed for hosting this meeting, and also for being such a wonderful supporter of our struggle to find out exactly what has been happening and trying to rectify all the wrongs that are either in terms of the thinking, the procedures, the mechanisms, and the dynamics of the government's approach. This is a common issue. This is a common issue. The issue of extremism, the issue of terrorism, the issue of violence does not pertain to one single section of our community. If, God forbid, a bus blew up or a train blew up in London, every single one of us would be hurt and harmed one way or another. We all use public transportation. We all live in this wonderful city and wonderful country of ours, and therefore no one is immune from being hurt and harmed either physically or indirectly by such attacks, and therefore this is a common issue that we are all tackling. To make it the concern of one particular community is something, I think, which basically defeats the very cause of what we're trying to do, and therefore we're trying to find out what is going on, what wrongs there are, and try to submit ideas and initiatives and proposals to rectify the wrongs. Also, I'd like to thank every one of our speakers. I'd like to thank Paul Kundanani for coming and for the staff who had to leave earlier. Thank you very, very much. We will be contacting you. By all means, do visit our website. Our material are there for you to take. You can order more if you wish. But we will be in touch very, very soon to announce a follow-up meeting according to the suggestion and proposal of Lord Ahmed. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.